Empowering You show. This is a lively television show that is a driving force to positive transformation in every viewer's life. Our goal is simple. It is to elevate our audience members with clear, practical, helpful advice and engaging activities. We're here dedicated to sparking a journey of self-growth and empowerment, making sure each episode is a step towards professional and personal achievement. That's how we empower you on the Empowering You show. So get ready, it's time. Great rising. Welcome back to the Empowering You show. I am your host, Dr. Barbara H. Smith, and soon I'm going to bring up our co-host. Today we have a phenomenal guest. But why do we do the Empowering You show? Well, we want to showcase personalities and businesses that are doing phenomenal things in the world. And today is no different. But before I bring up our guest, let me bring up the sensational, sexy, sassy, smart Shawnee Smith.
Well, good day. I'm so happy to be here. I must remind myself also to listen to your introduction of me for one of those days that I need a reminder. I'm just saying, I have missed you so.
You know,
yes.
You said that to me. Let me remind you who you are, ma'am.
Please do.
You are the sexy, sassy, smart, and oh so special Shawnee Smith, who does everything behind the scenes for the Empowering You show, for BHS and Associates, and in your own right can do Spice, a mother, a wife. Listen, all the hats. So if you forget, you got the digits, call me up.
You forgot the candlestick maker, all of that too. Yeah, all of that, all the things. It is amazing to be here today. It's a beautiful day, and not just because the weather is beautiful, but because I'm here.
Yeah,
I am here.
Yeah. But we want to just dive right in with our guest because we have a phenomenal. I said phenomenal already. That doesn't even begin to describe who we have today.
Yeah. He'll leave you speechless. Yes.
He is the executive director and founder of the Center for Micro-Entrepreneurial Training, say that 3 times fast, a nonprofit organization committed to transforming communities by equipping women, Black and brown entrepreneurs with the tools, knowledge, and networks they need to launch, grow, and sustain successful business. Come on, not a hookup, not a hustle, not a hobby, a successful business. With over 35 years of executive leadership, spanning global corporations such as Baxter, Johnson & Johnson, Novartis, and Abbott, he brings a wealth of strategic, operational, and coaching expertise to the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Under his leadership, CMET has trained hundreds of emerging business owners, facilitated critical access to capital. Let me say that part again. Critical.
Yes. Not
no money, no worky. Okay.
Right.
And forged high impact partnerships with financial institutions, municipal agencies, and corporate sponsors. He's widely recognized for his ability to design practical, results-driven training programs, including the CMET's signature entrepreneurial business accelerator and pioneering entrepreneurship through acquisition workshops. You know, that opens new pathways to business ownership and generational wealth. But his passion lies in removing barriers, advocating for equitable economic opportunities, which we need in this community so bad, and empowering aspiring entrepreneurs to transition from vision to execution with confidence and clarity. Help me bring to the platform Mr. Joseph Simmons.
Wow. That should be like in a round of applause. Okay.
Ladies, you've got nothing on the hype man from Muhammad Ali. Drew Bundini Brown. You are phenomenal, just phenomenal. Thank you so much for that introduction.
You are so welcome, sir. I remember seeing you on the Black Business Expo, and I got to give shout out to Dr. Kelly because the quality and caliber of people that come to that show, that I have gotten to be introduced to is phenomenal. And you are one of those. I'm so grateful to have you. We're going to jump right in. I'm going to let Shawnee go first because I got some really good questions too.
So first of all, just listening to your bio again, spoken by the Dr. Barbara A. Smith, it sounds already, huge, right? But you're not impacting individuals. You're impacting legacy. Literally. And I don't know if you feel it that way, but tell me, what does it look like to even get started? Do you go through business yourself and say, I can help others? Or do you just know that you have this gift from the beginning? How does that start?
Wow. Great question. I guess I have to start with my parents. My mom and dad. My father was a minister. My mother was, she put together, we have a family of 5. I have 2 other brothers and 2 other sisters. And my father was an AME minister. And Shawnee, he was a builder. By trade, he was a carpenter, bricklayer, rock. So he had an idea in regards to what a house would look like, what the church would look like. But he was also a community builder. He was a party chair. So he was always connecting people. He was always building things, and he was always networking. But he always was very much a visionary in regards to seeing down the road. And I always think about this as I look back at my life. My father built me a desk, and he put the desk in front of the window, and the window looked out, because our house was on top of a hill, and it looked out, and I could see almost to downtown. And my mother would bring me home because she was a maid for a Jewish rabbi in this small town. And she would bring me home, the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, all these magazines. Wow. And I'd sit there and read them. And I would play that, okay, I was the head of a business and I was running this business and this was all out there. And it's amazing what your parents do in regards to expectations. So for my mom and dad and the 5 of us, the expectations was, we're going to go to college, we're going to have a better life, we're going to give back to our community. So that was always in our DNA. And
that's amazing.
And Dr. Smith and Shawnee, you've heard this statement. What is luck? Well, luck is preparation, right? And opportunity at the right time.
Yep.
And I'd retired, and ladies, I retired 3 times. My wife will tell you I was driving her nuts here in the house. And I was a mentor at SCORE, and they had me doing PPP and EIDL applications.
Okay. PDP and EIDL. Break it down for us.
I forget what the acronyms are, but during the pandemic, basically these were opportunities to gain access to capital for businesses and entrepreneurs. And ladies, at least 6 out of the 10, I could not move forward for approval because they just didn't have basic things.
Now, what are those basic things before you go on? Because there's some people out here in business doing hookup, hustle, or hobbies, right? And they are not in business, but they think they're in business. What are the things that they did not have that you could not move them along in the process of gaining access to capital?
The number one thing was, as you said, Dr. Smith, they were play businesses because they did not register with the state of Florida. That was if you were not registered with the state of Florida, and if you didn't have the proper identification numbers, we could not move the application process. Location, simple as that. Yeah, it's very simple as that. So, Dr. Smith, as you could just tell them by your facial expression, you could see that fundamentally, if you don't have a foundation for us to build your business on, you can't go forward. If you don't have registration with the state, if you're not registered with the county for tax ID so you can collect revenue and then pay taxes on it, you can't move forward as a business. You're always going to have this ceiling on top of you that you can't move forward. And then just like, I don't know, I was literally, Shawnee, I was sitting in front of the TV. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm an avid listener of CNBC. There's a Black gentleman, Frank Holland. He's on from 5 to 6. And he was talking. And he was talking about corporations had not fulfilled their obligations of their commitment during the murder of, George Floyd. And I'm listening. And then I got out a legal pad and I just sketched out what I wanted the organization to look like. There was a need to provide fundamental training for women, Black and brown entrepreneurs. Those are the 3 groups that were tremendously affected by the pandemic, and those that could not get access to capital and business
Right.
fundamentally, they were struggling. So to answer your question, Reverend Albert Simmons and his wife Hetty Simmons pretty much put me in this opportunity that that CMET is today. I mean, without those two, I mean, they had expectations for me to literally say, okay, at some point in your life, you're going to give back to your community, and that's the point in my life I'm at right now.
That is so wonderful.
It
Oh,
is.
I have so many questions from that standpoint. You talked about your mom and dad and how they were instrumental in expectations, in things they expected of you. Today, we have so many young people who don't have that mother and father in the same place at the same time, giving them the kinds of foundational skills and aspirations and inspirations that you had. What do you say to a young person today that is basically lost, but knows that they want something better in their life? What do you say to a young person today, those that might be listening?
One of my close friends is a minister in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we were having that same conversation, and he founded an organization called the 13th Man, and their focus is on African-American young men between grade school, middle school, and high school. And one of the things that we were talking about, Dr. Smith, is that there's a phrase that we're afraid to use as Black males, and that is, "Can you help me?"
Mm.
It's a very simple phrase, but know whether or not, Shawnee, you can be in middle school, high school, but also in your corporate career. I mean, it took me 10 years for me to finally say that to my immediate supervisor, my boss, to say, "Hey, Dr. Smith, I need help. I want to get here. Help me get there." And once I said that, the wheels went into motion.
Why do you think that is, though?
I think there's a vulnerability that you have because you're going to, I'm going to say to you ladies, I need your help. That's a vulnerable state. That shows, for some ways, shows weakness, insecurity, lack of confidence, all things that the male ego says, you know what, because we're used to being, the caveman, going out and hunting and getting things and, being the dominant force. But when you say, I need help, but it's such, once you say it and it comes out and that person looks at you like you two look at, well, here's what I'm going to do for you. Now, the key part is when I ask for help,
what are you going to do
give me help, you've got to commit to it and execute it.
Yeah.
And that's the other part, is that execution. Because like I tell people, I will help you, but like you were saying earlier during the conversation about networking, if I connect you with someone and you don't show up and you don't show up right.
You said two things right there. You don't only have to show up. You got to come correct.
Yes.
Right.
Because you don't come raggedy with my name next to you.
Oh, amen. Yeah.
Not raggedy.
Not raggedy.
No.
We get into these conversations and I forget we on TV. I'm so glad they don't just snatch me off the network, because it's true. Raggedy. Just anyway, I had so many questions about you. You don't have monopoly. Male gender does not have monopoly on not wanting to ask for help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Women will wear their cape and it's part of almost like a shame of not knowing. There's pride. There's all these things that we want to assume, and we're so used to wearing a mask, right? That means that to take off the mask to say, I don't really know, because we grow up with fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Right.
But Shawnee and Dr. Smith, it's, we're on our August 18th, we'll start our 26th cohort.
Wow.
And there's
that deserves applause right there.
Thank you.
Seriously.
But I really have got to give it to I'd say manage, but I really work with 12 outstanding subject matter experts that cover the content for CMET. But when I had the idea for CMET, one of the things I wanted to create was a community of safety where entrepreneurs, and probably Dr. Smith, 80% of the entrepreneurs that go through my cohort are going to be African-American females. And to your point, Shawnee, the vulnerability is there, but because you're in this environment of security and safety, they can now ask the questions that they need to ask to be successful.
Right.
And they've got a
I
support
love that.
network. You know,
Yeah.
I had breakfast yesterday morning with two of the entrepreneurs that had gone through the program, and they were in Tampa, and I drove over, and one of them has started a Eggs Up franchise in Riverview, Florida. And the other one was in town because she's going to start manufacturing ice cream out of Opelika. I love saying Opelika, Alabama. Kind of rolls off the tongue.
You may like saying Opelika, Alabama, but you say anything with Alabama, and I'm going the other way. I'm just saying.
But they were
Alabama got a bad rap.
In Alabama. Okay, I'm just
but ladies, they were talking about, you listen because you were asked a question about, what you've created. And when you're outside it and you hear them talk about it, it's like, oh, wow. This happened. Because Priscilla, her name is Priscilla Conyers, who has the Eggs Up franchise. She was saying, one of the things that CMET gave me was how to delegate, because one of the other members of the cohort has a VA, virtual assistance, program that she runs, or business that she runs. There are two of them in the cohort. They connected, they collaborated, and now they're doing business with each other.
Yes.
And to me, when I hear them talk about that, it's like, okay, like you have this idea, Dr. Smith, about your business, this concept, but when you hear it verbalized and they say, well, because of CMET, I did this, because of CMET, but not only, but they're doing business with one another. So they're strengthening each other's business, they're collaborating, and they're networking. So that's, when I had that legal pad and I wrote out what CMET is going to be, to hear them, at 6:30 in the morning yesterday verbalize that was it brought a smile to my face.
Yeah, and it's because of you. They've changed their processes, but it's also because of you that now their children will have this business as well. We have to, particularly us, struggle with when we have a business, understanding that we are business owners. Many of the times we are self-employed. And we have to get to the place where we are business owners, where we can step away from the business and the business still operates. And, I would imagine, at least in my experience, that most of the people that I know that are business owners are really self-employed. And it is organizations like yours that help you paint the picture to show you how to delegate, how to step outside of it so that you can look at the vision and not just be in the moment trying to fill the order or, whatever it is that your business is doing.
And Shawnee, you bring up a good point. And you said something that really brought up, I'm starting a new project and for CMET. And it talked about the three phases you go through as an entrepreneur. You're a technician, a manager, and then an entrepreneur. And he said that as a technician, you're doing everything, right? We do everything: accounting, recruiting, marketing, branding, all that. Then you move to the next level and you're bringing in people. So you bring in a virtual assistant, or you bring in some of our operations. You now have a process in place. Then that next layer, in the top layer, is now you're looking down on your business and you're going, okay, what do I need to do to keep it moving forward? And the processes kick in. And the next thing you know, you can take a 6 weeks vacation and know that your business is still humming. Everything is in place. They're not calling you up while you're, out with your kids or enjoying that. But the other thing that I want to mention, and you touched on it, Shawnee, about becoming an entrepreneur. Doing one of the cohorts, I'll never forget this. There was a husband and wife. The husband was doing a disposal, and the wife was refurbishing computer equipment for resale. But in the background, you can see the two boys, because I do my programs virtually. And I was telling them, I said, you know what? They're like young lions. They're standing there, they're listening to everything that's being said. And she looked back, and you could tell that, okay, one day they're going to say, Mom and Dad, I got this. We're going to take over the reins of this business, and we're going to take it to another level. And that's the beauty of seeing this. Now you've got two generations of entrepreneurs, and their kids will take over the business. And now you've got dynastic wealth. And that's what you do.
Yeah,
I,
absolutely.
I got a question. You have created CMET and you've got these cohorts coming through. Have you ever thought, has it been in your business plan or structure or strategy to teach the process of CMET, to teach what CMET does and how to create a business from that standpoint?
You know what, Dr. Smith, I've not thought about that because I'm working on the final leg of CMET.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Meaning,
meaning, okay, I want, as I said earlier, I want a process. So the process will be this. Dr. Smith and Shawnee will come into the 5-day virtual training. You'll go through that. Then, you know, based on your skills and ability and what your business is doing, you'll move into the Growth Accelerator program. And now we're on the second, we've got the second class of that. So we've got 16 entrepreneurs that have gone through the Growth Accelerator program or in the program. Then we're going to move you to the CMET Collective. And the collective will be businesses that are doing $750 to over $1 million. And then you'll meet monthly and you'll talk about the challenges that you have. So you'll sit around the table with your peers and Shawnee will say, hey, I've got a problem with marketing of my spices. What can I do? The other 8 will say, okay, you need to do this, this, and this.
I love
and
that.
that way you'll constantly, because I ran it by the 2 entrepreneurs yesterday at breakfast, and they both said that we always talk about successes, but to grow and develop your business, you need to address the challenges.
Yeah.
And you need to have people that are outside your business that can look into your business with objectivity.
Yes. And see it differently. Yeah.
So I've got 3 entrepreneurs that have met. They're going to go through a 6-month pilot program. And then in 2026, I'm going to introduce it to CMET as a 3-group collective. And we'll try to have 8 to 12. So now I'll have a clear pathway for entrepreneurs that come in at this point, migrate to here. And then SBA recognizes a small business as $1 million plus and over 10 employees. So now I have a group at that end that can say, okay, I'm 30 some entrepreneurs within CMET that are in that collective. They're doing in excess of $1 million. When I get them to 5 to 10 and beyond. And now I've got a system in place.
That is so amazing.
So real quick, for anybody who's just tapping in late, how can we connect with you?
Easy. Our website is tcmet.org. You can connect with me there. We're on YouTube, the Center for Micro-Entrepreneurial Training. I know Dr. Smith said that was a mouthful in the beginning, and it still is, as well as Facebook. And also, I'm open. I mean, they can also email me at my first initial J, Simmons, SIMMONS, at tcmet.org. We're not that big. I love talking to entrepreneurs. I love, as Dave Chappelle said, with their dreamers. They have these ideas and you hear them talking. It's just invigorating to hear.
You have to be just a little bit to this, to want to be an entrepreneur in the first place, right? I have to know though, tell me your greatest success story, your greatest business that you saw take off.
That's like asking an artist, what is their best song? You always get that question. I'm gonna give you 2 stories.
Okay.
One is around commitment, and that is Katie Bennett, and you probably see her, Dr. Smith, if you've been on the Black Business Network. She's on our YouTube video as a promotion, and she's someone that looks, like us on the screen, and she is an avid writer, and she avid reader, and that was her why. She wanted to publish books, and she wanted to get into that business. She came into the EBA, the 5-day. And the first thing she learned was she had to register with the county and with the state and get her business license. So she did that. Then she had to pay her taxes. So she had to go and do that. But she kept that drive of moving forward, that grind of keep moving forward. And so I noticed something about her though, that when people say I had that it.
Yeah.
She had that it. She was always talking about, I want to do this, I want to do this. But she did the actions. She did the necessary actions. So Katie, she had a horrific car accident. And she was out of commission for about 6 to 8 months. But she never gave up on her dream. And so we put her into the Growth Accelerator program just because, you know, she had a solid business plan. She had the trajectory of revenue that she was going to be successful, but the accident really waylaid that. So fast forward, you know, last year she was able to get back in her business. She got a contract for 250, you know, that got her back up and running. So now, as of today, she's looking to hire salespeople. She has people in place in regards to an organization. She has other contracts coming. I think she's got a contract with the county, and she's one of the pilot entrepreneurs that's going into the collective because of where her trajectory is. So that's one. I mean, just to be a single mom with 2 kids and just to overcome a horrific accident and stay committed and focused in regards to, I want to do this and I want to be successful. So Katie's one. But on the flip side, Shawnee, I want to talk about, we had someone in the 5-day and she was in Jacksonville, Florida. She was an older lady. I think she was in her 50s because she was near retirement. And one of the things we do is before you come into the program, we send you out a 1-page business plan and we give you an assessment of that business plan. So that's a free, you know, that's a free service that you give you. So again, you know, one of my strongest, you know, counterparts is Michelle Chenault. She does business planning. She looked at the business plan and the feedback she gave this lady was, you know what? The business is not really that solid where you're going. And then we asked her about funding it. She said, well, I'm going to take my 401k and fund this business. And Michelle and I both looked at it and go, you really shouldn't do that. It really is, you know, you'd wipe out your funds, you know, you're at that age where to start over. So just having that frank conversation with an entrepreneur to let her know this is not the best avenue for you to take, I think is also a success. You know, we just can't have people filing bankruptcy and this and that. So those are 2 stories that I can get. But I could also tell you about someone that went through day 2 of our financial session. She went to lunch. She called me and said, I'm going to be 2 hours late. She went to her bank and she got a credit line of $50,000.
Wow.
So
Won't we do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the kind of the other, you know, so we have those success stories as well as
It's awesome that you have that expertise because so many people bootstrap, right? We know all about bootstrapping.
Yeah.
And how fast. Imagine that she put her 401k on the line and where she would find herself still working well into her 70s.
Yeah.
If things didn't go right.
I mean, think about it. You're broke. You wiped out your savings. The only thing you have is Social Security. And the other thing that we told her to do, and I think Dr. Smith had alluded to it at the beginning, was that there's opportunity to buy businesses. So instead of taking that 401k and investing in a startup that is going to drain you of cash, buy a business that's in the travel industry and use that cash flow because you're going to get a salary, but you're going to get cash flow and customers. And that will be a better way for you to take and own and start a business.
Now, you know, I never even heard of that until recently. And you solidified it on the show when you came to Black Business Expo. But I had never even heard. My son actually introduced that to me about a year ago. But by that time, I had bootstrapped my business, taken all my money out of 401k. You talking about all these foreign people that I don't know, and you're telling my story. And bootstrap my business to get to where it is today. And, you know, and some moments still struggle because the funding is not there. But the idea of purchasing another business, if you're listening out there and you're looking for a business opportunity and have capital or can get access to capital, that is the best thing I think that I have heard in a decade.
It really is. I always joke about, there was a skit on Saturday Night Live with Eddie Murphy where he went in whiteface and he got on the bus and the bus takes him uptown. And once they get past a certain thing, all the black folks get off and it's just white folks on. And he asked to buy a paper and they started laughing. Everything is free, everything. And that's what I feel like entrepreneurship acquisition is. It's just this kept secret that's been away from us, but it's there. There is $10 trillion of market value businesses out there for sale. People with gray hair like myself, we're looking to retire. We want to get rid of these businesses because our kids don't want to do anything with them. we as a community, I think Black businesses represent $7 trillion. That's it. There's $10 trillion. So if we could get 10% of that over the next 5 to 10 years, it's a game changer. And Shawnee and Dr. Smith, think about it. Here's an example. I was called by an associate a year ago when I first heard about ETA and the market size. He said, Joe, there's a business in Orlando. It's a truck towing business valued at $8 million. The salary was $350,000. The cash flow was there. And he said, do you know of anyone? And one of my friends from Pharma, he had retired, but he purchased 2 Allstates. And he said something that really dawned on him. He said, Joe, why are you late to this? I mean, think about who we work for. I said, what do you mean? He said, Novartis was nothing more than the acquisition of 5 other pharma companies. Johnson & Johnson is nothing more than the acquisition of 150 companies. So it was always around us, but we never was cognizant of, okay, this is an avenue for us. And like Dr. Smith is saying, all they're asking for is just like it's not as simple as buying a house, but the principles are in the same. You're going to have an equity injection of 10 to 20%. Now you can use your 401k for that equity injection, but think about it. You're going to have a salary, you're going to have cash flow, you're going to have customers, and you can have brand identity.
Yeah.
It's all out there.
Already established.
Exactly. So, so as a people, and God bless us, starting a business, I've got a 5-day, I go through that. But if you want to get to Park Avenue quicker, ETA is the way to go. ETA and think about it. You've got, I know, and I know we're on a safe channel, but I would look across the table in meetings and I look at my white counterparts and I'm going, I am never going to get past them. There's always going to be this glass ceiling that I can only go as far as this, and this.
Right.
You take your talents, your abilities, and your competencies, and you bring it into this business. There was 2 gentlemen that I met that are in a workshop as panelists. They're in their late 20s. They purchased a wound care business with a hyperbaric chamber. The business did last year $2 million. They bought the business at the end of the 3rd quarter of last year. The 4th quarter, they did $2 million. So they equaled what that business did for the full year. This year, when I talked to them, they're doing approximately $5 million, and they're going to buy 2 more wound care centers, one in Atlanta and one in Phoenix. That's what young people bring to these businesses.
Right. And think about this. So this business is getting ready to, the ownership is getting ready to retire. They're boomers, they're getting ready to retire. They want to invest in getting someone else to keep their business going, but and sometimes they get an equity share at the end. But here's the thing, with today's technology that they didn't have when they were building their business, what you could do to a business that's already established, already running, already cash flowing.
Yes.
With today's information, man.
Yeah.
I need to roll that.
The efficiency alone.
Yeah, exactly right. You are exactly right. It is just phenomenal, what you can do once you're, and also the 2 of you understand the pressure of starting a business is immense. It's just immense. You're like you said, you're bootstrapping. Well, you could take a breath, because if you already matched in the 4th quarter what you did for the whole year.
Come on.
Dr. Smith, now you've got the time to do the planning, right? You can implement programs, right? You can talk to your bankers about, okay, this is what I want to do. I need funding for this, because they know you can pay it because you've got the cash flow.
Got the cash flow. Cash flow is king.
Exactly. And the other thing that you can do is, and one of the gentlemen that's buying a business told me, he embedded himself in the business for 6 months.
That's smart.
It was a software business. So he got to learn the sales process. The customers got to meet him. So when the transition happened, they weren't surprised when Dr. Smith was, we know Dr. Smith. She's been around here for 6 months. And the employees know you. So you don't go through that shock of, well, who is Dr. Smith? And why is she bringing Shawnee in here?
Right.
They know you. You're part of it. You're embedded in the business. So, yeah. And then the last thing is, as my father he used to always tell these dad jokes about, Hey, Dad, why do bank robbers rob banks? Well, that's where the money is. So,
That's facts, though, for real. There's a
but I
question
was,
out there.
but I
How do
was,
you encourage the legacy aspect of business development? Like a lot of people don't plan for the future beyond their own lives.
the first thing we tell them when they enter the EBA is that you've got to think of the end in mind. Like for myself, I've been involved. I'll be starting my 5th year. I've already presented to the board in January my succession plan. 5 years, I want to be, someone else will be sitting in this chair talking to Dr. Smith and Shawnee. It will not be, Joe Simmons. So,
excuse me, they won't be talking to Dr. Smith, but Dr. Smith going to be on a private island somewhere sipping Mai Tais. I'm just saying.
So you begin with the end in mind. You say to yourself, okay, if you find that your kids want to be involved in the business, then you put that in place. You also put the legal mechanisms in place in regards to a will. So that legacy you have to pick up. But you also have to kind of look at, it's almost like you're scouting for talent. You always look, when I was managing people, one of the things that I learned, I never was fearful of somebody leaving because I knew I could hire somebody better. I had that much confidence in that I would, if Shawnee left me, I know that I could find a Dr. Smith and that person would be that much better and it would elevate. And it's the same thing in business. You're going to look and say, okay, I think that person might be a good executive director for CMET. Let me just kind of work with them for a year or two and get to know them, because you have to think about that. And as I said earlier, that's the last level of entrepreneurship, is you're looking over your business going, okay, at some point in time, I need to exit it. And who's going to take it over? And what would it look like when they take it over?
That's so good. That's so
good.
good.
So good, right? But just to go back real quick, if Shawnee left, you wouldn't be able to get somebody better. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's true. I would not. That's the way Dr. Smith introduced you. You would be hard to replace. It would be very challenging, Shawnee.
Okay, so let's be clear. Let's be clear. There have been nightmares that I have had thinking about Shawnee waking up one day and saying, "You know what, Dr. Smith, I don't want to work with you no more." And
going to my private island.
Unlike yourself, Joseph Simmons, who said, I'm always looking and I'm always ready to find somebody that's going to be up-leveled, upskilled than Shawnee, than this person. And I literally, all seriousness, we've been joking and playing the whole time on the show with bits and pieces of great information. But I literally have had nightmares that she's going to walk away one day. And I'm going to be like, what am I supposed to do? Because
you're going to go to CMET. And then they're going to show you how.
Valuable to me.
Well,
help me.
Well, Dr. Smith, I think you said something earlier. I was hearing you talk about, your off camera, ladies and gentlemen. We were having this conversation about, her expertise in software. I think in the next, for Shawnee's generation and the generation following, AI will have such a tremendous impact on businesses in regards to replacing people, doing some of the functionality that you would have a person do, you would have an AI bot do. Yeah. And I know even for CMET now, we run certain things through AI that I don't really, just because I'm a nonprofit, I don't have that. I can't absorb that cost, but I can, for $20 a month, I can use Perplexity, I can use Claude AI, I can use something.
Gemini, ChatGPT, all of things.
Exactly. And I think we have to look at using those kind of tools to really assist our business in regards to growth. I mean, it's, one of our subject matter experts, I brought her into Orlando to do a presentation on sales using AI. And she said something that I think we as a people have to grasp. And that is, we have a billionaire class, but the millionaire class is going to replace the middle class.
Yes.
And she said AI will, over the next 10 years, create more millionaires than anything we've had before. And I think we've got to be
that long. I don't think it's going to be that long.
And I think we've got to grasp that technology and not be left at the train station.
Sir.
Because
the bus station.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
No, we left at the beach, because here's the thing. I've been doing training for AI, and I've uncovered some of the most startling and sobering facts about our community when it comes to AI. And we are not adopting as quickly as other ethnicities and
Yeah.
ethnic categories. And it is part of my mission to get us as close as we can. Because right now, the word I heard is chasm.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I thought it was a gap, a little gap, little seam gap. No, the word I heard is we are falling so far behind. There's a chasm between those who have adopted and the African American community.
Well,
And
think about
that's
well,
right.
think about this, Dr. Smith. There was a study that said last month ChatGPT had 750 million users. The U.S. population is 330 million. So think about that number. I was listening to a podcast, and the moderator said this. She said that when the car came, there were 40 million horses in the U.S. As of today, there are only 14 million horses. So when you talk about a chasm, that's, as an analogy, that's what we're looking at. If we don't adopt that, it is just, and the way government is going now, there's no more safety nets for 50% of the population. So you've got to get on this technology.
Yeah.
It's not something that's going away. You can't,
you can't undo it. You can't slow the train down.
Yeah. And also it's just so beneficial to your life.
God, how come we don't understand this? And Dr. Jimmy Davies said something that I'm taking forward as part of my mantra. 2 types of businesses in the next year, 12 months. One business is using AI and the other business is out of business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a funding meeting last night, and they were talking about applications, this, that, and the other. And I just wrote this: scan, put into my bot, and do a proposal. 10 seconds, it was done.
Who got time, Joseph Simmons, for writing proposals?
Not even time. Even beyond the time.
Who got that kind of time? We have had such a phenomenal conversation. We could go on forever. This has been one of the best. This is gonna be on replay.
It's over? You're kidding.
We got about 10 more minutes.
Okay. Yeah. I really enjoyed talking to the two of you. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you being on the show. We want to know how to get in touch with you, how to become part of the CMET programming process.
It's real easy. All you have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is go to our website. There's a pop-up that's registration for our upcoming EBA. So simply go to tcmet.org and you can register there. We do have an upcoming entrepreneurship through acquisition workshop in Jacksonville, Florida next week on the 14th. But stay tuned. We'll probably be doing a Zoom ETA, just because of, like you were saying, Dr. Smith. Yeah. There's such a lack of understanding, just that awareness right now. So we'll probably be doing something like that in October.
I'm claiming it, but not at the beginning of October. Okay,
okay.
Because it's not even always just how to do it. Even that it's even a thing.
That it even exists to do it.
Yeah.
And we don't want you to do it at the beginning, because at the beginning of October 3rd, 4th, and 5th, the Sisters Inspire Sisters to Advance event is on and popping. We have 3 doctors in the house: Dr. Obiama Martin, Dr. Lisa Santiago McNeil, and yours truly, Dr. Barbara H. Smith, who are going to be taking the platform and bringing in women who are looking to level up their professional and personal lives. You don't want to miss it. These last 4 years of doing this event has gone on. It's just so enlightening and enriching for the women who attend, that they have continued to be comrades after the event and level up their lives and their business. Where can you get the information? Go to barbarahsmith.com and register. That was my community service announcement.
Now, is that live in person?
It is in person. Norfolk, Virginia. Come into Norfolk, Virginia. We're looking to do something on a virtual platform, but we do have the one ticket. It's very intimate, and it's typically invitation only, but we do tell people about it on the show, and we have an application process. So, yeah. You know somebody who is looking to be with like-minded women who are all about uplifting each other, please send them our way.
Yes, keyword there, like-minded women.
Can you send me the flyer on that? I'll put it into our network.
I will definitely do that.
Absolutely.
Johnny got you on that. She got you. What else you got, Johnny?
I mean, we figured out how we can connect with you. What is it? Give us a piece of advice for upcoming entrepreneurs, current entrepreneurs. What is one solid piece of advice that you would like to leave them with?
I would say this, that it's going to be in several parts. Part number one, because of where we're at in the world today, technology-wise, if you have an idea, put it into an AI bot and just develop it and cultivate it and let it ask you the questions, and you keep pumping in and pumping until you really have a solid business plan. So once you have a solid business plan and you think this business is one, the other thing that you have to do is, if you're in a relationship with your partner, your wife, your spouse, have that long, deep conversation about the commitment it takes to start a business.
Ooh, never considered that.
I didn't.
Still listening.
Yeah, because Shawnee and Dr. Smith, there is no work-life balance with starting a business.
Come on.
It's a total commitment. And that commitment, I've always said this, either your career or your business, your mate or your spouse can become jealous of, because you're giving so much time to it. So if you lay that out first and tell them that, okay, this is what and they see you actually do it, then they'll see the commitment. The other thing that I would say is, surround yourself with people that are ahead of you. For example, the reason why I put together, the reason why I put the collective together was that I want these entrepreneurs to be around someone that has $100 million business. Because if someone has $100 million business, they have connections in that room that can elevate you up. So that's the other thing. People don't understand the aspect of networking and networking successfully. I think Dr. Smith and I were having a conversation about that, backstage, about you've got to walk into a room and say, okay, who do I need to connect with and how can they help me?
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be a
relationship. Say that though, Joseph Simmons, you have to be able to be confident in your own self to say that, because a lot of people will not. For example, you gave an open invitation. I hope people really understand that you are sincere about it. Call the man.
Yeah.
He said he's interested in entrepreneurs. You're out there struggling in a business, whoever I'm talking to, you're struggling in a business, you don't know which way to go, and you're not in the room, in the circles of people who are where you want to go. Not pooking them sitting on the couch, telling you how they wouldn't do that if they were you.
I heard this again on CNBC, and again, it made perfect sense. You are the relative value of your circle.
Say that.
If your circle is 100 million, then guess what?
Your
50K it can be part of that 100 million, because they can connect you. They can say, Shawnee, here's a deal that's coming up. You want to be part of it? Yeah, I want to be. That's a $10 million job. All of a sudden, you're off and running.
Yeah,
you're off and running. So,
life-changing.
Yeah, but there's a preparation. There's a preparation for that. I know they always ask me. They said, "Well, Joe, how is you always find yourself in rooms that you say, geez, how did I wind up here?" Because I don't put a ceiling on myself and say, you know what, I don't deserve to be in that room. I'm going to go in the room, and I know my stuff. So know your stuff. Have a pitch. Shawnee and Dr. Smith, I can tell you about CMED in 10 seconds. Boom, 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 boom. Who can you direct me to that can help me? And people are always wanting to help you. But if you don't ask for it, they're not going to help you.
Closed mouth doesn't get what? Fed, right? I'm waiting for y'all to finish that.
You have not because you has not, right?
Yeah. And you're right, Dr. Smith. I think the retreat that you're doing in October helps. And I hate to be sexist about it, but there is this thing about, female entrepreneurs where they've got to say, this is who I am, this is what I do,
Yeah.
and be very confident about it. That comes up very vividly in our financial workshop where we talk about pricing for profitability.
Mhm.
As soon as you say what your price is,
Mhm.
there's a value. And if you stutter or you're weak about saying what your price is, then either one, you don't know what your costs are, or you're not really secure about what you do.
That's right. I need you to say that for the people in the back.
Yeah. It is a struggle, particularly when it's a service
Yes.
Yeah.
versus the product.
Yeah.
And I was there. I was so there. Joseph Simmons, I was so there for so long.
Yeah.
Not understanding the value I bring to the room.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah. But also, Dr. Smith, you probably have a walk away. If somebody says, that's too expensive for me, thank you. I really enjoyed your time, but I'll move on to somebody that can afford it.
Because my coach told me there is a client and a customer at every price point.
Yes.
Mhm.
And once I got that,
Yeah.
I can walk away.
Yeah.
Because
So
everybody's not a client.
So those are the things. And the other thing that I would add is never stop learning. Learn new technologies, learn new ways of doing things. And that comes from being at that third level where you're looking down on your business. And to make your business better, you're going to go in and learn about AI. You're going to learn about, whatever the latest technology, and see if you can adapt it in your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
This
was so good. This was so good.
This is for sure playing again next week. Okay. I'm just letting you know, listeners out there, you're going to get this 2 weeks in a row because you need to get this.
We'll get it. We have run out of time, but I want you to tell us one more time, just in case somebody came in at the end and they're just seeing the end part of this show that they have missed. Yo, press replay on this one. I promise you're going to want to replay this. But Joseph Simmons, tell us again, how do we get in touch with you?
Sure, it's very easy. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to start a business, have an idea in business, but you really want to learn about business, then please go to our website. It's tcmet.org, or go to our YouTube channel or Facebook page. We're all there. We're there to help you. We want to make you successful.
I love it. Shani,
for the people, is there any limitation on who can be helped by you? Whether that's distance or industry?
Well, we do the 5 days on a virtual platform. So that gives us, for me, for CMET, I have people from as far away as Nigeria, Kenya. We've done Japan, India, and Canada. So yeah.
I'm going to get you some people from Senegal.
All right. Love to have them. Love to have them. Because, there's opportunity.
That opens up a whole international market for you as well, just for attending. Come on, people. Why aren't you on the website yet? Schedule.
You still here? You still looking at us? You're not on? Thank you so much, Mr. Simmons, for being here. We have
it was a pleasure. The time literally, as they say, has flown by. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Look forward to working with you in the future. And just let me know if I can help you in any way.
Yes, sir.
You can help me in several ways.
You will be hearing from us both. Trust and believe that. Shani, you have any last outtakes before I shut the show down?
I don't. I want you to be intentional. I want you to be open to learning, as Mr. Simmons talks about. Be coachable. You don't know everything. You couldn't possibly. Find somebody who does.
There you go. You know what time it is? It's time for you to step into your greatness because the world is waiting for you. That's our show. We will love to see you on the platform. Go to barbasesmith.com if you're interested in more empowering you. Thank you and good night.